Hello, collective. This is your timeless collective reading. With that, bear in mind that the energy reading for the entirety of the reading will be Bastet energy. To get you a bit familiar, if you're unfamiliar with Bastet energy, is to know that she is the ruler of darkness. So to ensure that the justice can be found in the darkness of consciousness, the light of Bastet's energy takes care of pretty much disciplining the active negative energy that takes place in the dark world. The dark world could be very literal as to whatever comes to mind. It could be literally abstract of the nighttime, as well as more shadow aspects to an individual, addictions or trauma or fear. And when you get even further into being picky about energy, you start looking at crystal consciousness and demon. And she is the protector of crystal consciousness in disciplining the demons that are very active in the crystal consciousness of humanity. So with that being said, I'm not asking you to familiarize yourself with the makeup of who Bastet is. It's not necessarily much of a concern figuring out who she is. More so, if you feel the vibration of resonancy, it means that you feel the impact, okay? And that impact is your story to develop on your own, in your own time, on your own path, and under the eyes of that of which can be seen through the one that is above all, which is the ruler of crystal consciousness. Who that is also very irrelevant to the point of needing to first trigger the possibility that you even resonate with the message. So please know that Seventh that reads the energy is a master healer. So feel free to check out the any details that might be made available in the description box below to see how you could book a reading or also inquire and receiving a remote healing session from Seventh. I have a sister channel to Bastet, which is 𝗖𝘀𝗵𝗔𝗽. The 𝗖𝘀𝗵𝗔𝗽.7th is the name of the channel. Again, the link is made available, and I look forward to utilizing both of my energies to see which may be insightful for you. I am here to trigger all of that of which it is that you are. So I could speak on past, present, and future energetical timelines. Please know this is a general reading, so whatever brings you here, you may receive something within this reading. There's no such thing as coincidence as to what brings you here, and that also means attached to it is no linear need to understand time and space. It's relative, so whatever brings you here at any moment given time and space, it was meant for you to be here at this moment. Feminine and masculine energies show up within a reading, so whether you are feminine and or masculine bodied, you may resonate with either of the energies. And most importantly is to take your discernment and utilize it with your skills and assets, all right, to take all of that which belongs to you and to leave the rest behind. Now, if there is astrology that comes up in this reading, please know I am not an astrological or astrologist or whatever, or I don't really care to read astrological charts. Can I? Yes. Do I make my business around that? No. I bring astrology into the game if I not only feel the energy to speak about it, to be a little bit, bring more clarity, or to, again, trigger. Okay, because the more you receive, the more you have exponentially to gain as well as lose. But this is the whole point of dealing with the mysticism of everything, to try to get an understanding of where you are and your own growth of that of which it is that you are, and making it count. And Yeah, so as you can see, you may or may not noticed, I have limited content. I don't really put a lot of content here on this channel. It has a lot to do with the fact that I am a one-lady show. I am more active on a segment because the energies call me over there a bit more. However, for those of you who are returning listeners or newcomers, I really very honored and grateful for you to allow me to go at this organic pace, and I hope that you are coming along for the ride. All right. It will be very interesting and intriguing sense of future for anyone tapping into this energy, and it is let's put it this way, it would be a finally is upon us, because we've all been anticipating something, and that something to come, whatever will will fall in order to that we get there, will need to fall in order for us to see what is potential. But either way, let me not go into that ramble too much, because I definitely sure can. All right, so let's get into your reading collective. All right, again, past, present, and future does not apply here. Feminine, masculine energy is non-gender specific, so feminine and masculine energy could resonate with you. That's the most important thing I will also again address. All right. So Bastet is an energy a bit more polite in getting the point across, but when it comes to disciplining the action, she's a bit merciless. Yeah, the Emperor. So the appeal that is needed right now is for the action, those who have had a belief in God or believe God to be a masculine trajectory of vibration. You will be put to work in more ways than you really feel really comfortable. You will think it's comfortable because you're comforting aspects of yourself until it becomes do or die, and you gotta get your shit going again, and you gotta get your bootstraps on, and you gotta go hustle, and you gotta go to that job. You can't take a time off. You gotta meet your timelines and due dates. You gotta pay the bills. Like, there's so many minutia details from the day to day that is beckoning you to make sure you get done. But then there's an overall kind of like enigma to you being who you are, because the ether is asking something of you, and instead of falling in the hands of needing to look up to anyone, ether wants you to look upon yourself for all your needs and all your desires, or like the wishes that you want. Ether wants you to rely a bit more on you, especially if you've caused a narrative in your life saying that there is God and then there is humanity. You put a buffer in between what is, that something is other than, because you do not have that, and that is a false ideology to think of in a form of uniformity, because this uniformity is important to try to bring attention to the areas that are different. And if everyone is the same but different, we're going to not find the beauty in the differences that makes us unique, but we're going to find it more like a problem, and that we're not good enough because there's something else that is like problem free, and it's not unifying. I hope that it was somewhat clear, but you're being put to the test in having, this is like a unified power, two of wands right here. All right, if that says anything to you, I'm not expecting it to. So the energy of the Two of Wands talks about needing to follow your intuition or needing to learn what the fuck intuition is all about. And while you may or may not know what intuition is all about, this energy of this whole entire reading, and as you read this reading, leave this reading behind and reflect upon it, there is a undenying connection that you have to whatever the reading brings you that to feel connected to, that will ultimately help you understand what intuition could mean. And as you decipher what it could mean, I think you'll have a better chance of formulating choices to navigate further into a certainty of yourself, and then you'll be able to understand it's your intuition that you solidified for self. There's a lot of perhaps unhealed wounds from last season coming forth into whatever season you're recycling yourself into now. Trajectory of this reading, it's winter into spring, spring into summer. So whenever it is that you're listening out to this reading, this trajectory could bring you into like that fall into winter, that winter into spring, or whatever cycle, okay? And that cycle is important to kind of help unify while also filtering out what's no longer needed. The Empress is here, fascinating, okay? We have, excuse me, there's a huge blanket of security to be found within this reading. I hope you can feel at least this reading bounce outside of the screen that you're listening this on or seeing it on, and really allow it to kind of bring a cloak of power around your environment wherever you are listening out to this, and feel that pressure of wherever you're floating within this environment, and feel that be the antenna that you need to feel a bit more existential, to be a bit more vivacious with life, to see things from a higher vibration instead of just good vibes and positive vibes, or no vibes, no bad vibes around here, not adequating it to having the trajectory of needing it to be good or bad, but just a high vibe. Because the higher you vibe, anything low dimensional that is toxic and is full of disease and illness and chronic pain doesn't have room to really mature or grow, because it's not a high vibrational. So between the Emperor and the Empress, there is you, the Ace of Wands. You're surrounded by high feminine energy, high masculine energy, asking you to reach and recalibrate feminine and masculine energy within yourself, and define that feeling within yourself so that you can be a go-getter, that you can make manifest the things that are in the mind, heart, soul, to make manifest for yourself, and to keep the vibration alive. Because as you keep the vibration alive, you allow every color of vibration to reach a higher vibration, slowly and steadily. But it's at a pace that brings a lot of security, a longevity, a possibility of productivity, lots of ideas, lots of maturation, lots of sexuality, lots of healing, lots of detoxing, lots of cleansing, lots of like creating in the juices. Now, this is a lot of energy also for creating children, so be mindful of that. You're here, you're meshing the energies of creativity to just shoot out of there. So, be mindful of that, of what kind of creativity you want to have come out of this type of imagination and reality at the same time. Look at that, Ace of Cups. Beautiful. I mean, you're taking the reality of feminine and masculine energy, and you're allowing it to really sit with you and to make itself manifest in your life, and being able to feel the sensations within your body. That's Ace of Cups energy. That's allowing the water movement that you know is not really like water, like the oceans running in your body, but imagining those waves, right? And imagine maybe if what it takes is to imagine you near a beach, right? And to hear the sounds of the waves and the smell of the ocean, the sand under your toes, right? Or or just the memory of the the people that are there, the type of atmosphere around that type of atmosphere, the atmospheric changes. All of a sudden, people closer to the water, they wear less clothes. Like there's like a symbiosis. There you go. That I'm hearing that you are learning to kind of like dance with, and it's beautiful because you're like a scuba diver in these waters, and you realize that you are swimming around a bunch of idiots, and you are kind of like just ignoring them, letting them be, not causing any drama because you're dealing with trauma and you want no drama to this trauma. So you're really allowing yourself to sit with this, to exist with this energy, which is important because it will teach you a lot with what you're feeling. Look at that. It would teach you a lot with what you're feeling as the Mother of Cups, Queen of Cups comes out and says that I need to feel these things in order to feel the existence. I am the queen because I am the master of feeling these feelings and making sense of these feelings and seeing others possibly in the same vulnerability of light than me, to really allow myself to step out of my own comfort zone and maybe be a comfort for another person. Really learning how to be that natural symbiosis of nature. Is there drama? Absolutely. Some of you live your lives in drama. Like that could be like living very luxuriously, having lots of decadence. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. A lot of luxury to be had with thinking about quality rather than quantity. And that's a beautiful thing to really make sure that you're also utilizing the right resources, the right natural resources if need be, thinking minimalistically instead of, like needing to have things over abundance, and really just being more nitpicky about what you claim to be as yours, because you realize once you make claim of it, it becomes an external viewpoint of what it is that you are, and you're becoming a bit more selective and having too much around you embody you when no one's embodying the physical actual makeup of who you are. So with all this juiciness, you're learning how to gain comfort within yourself. And this comfort is going to allow you to harness a better sense of security of that which it is you want to attach yourself onto. We said in the beginning that Bastet is the energy of, disciplining the demon's energy. And she can be very fucking feisty in ways that, you won't even realize it's her because you wouldn't want to accept it for how vicious the lesson of needing to discipline your own shadows needs to be. But she wants to deliver the message with the softness of the mysticism of the moon, where the justice factor of Sekhmet, that is more cunning and slashes, is the light of the sun that the moon just kind of like soaks up. She soaks up all that energy that Sekhmet does, and she kind of just sits with what is left of it, you can put it that way, because everything else comes from it. So as the light comes from the darkness, you realize that here for the Emperor, you start the reading powerful and ready to go, but with a bit of darkness here attached to it, with maybe that analogy of not knowing or being attached to demons, right? Or maybe even being a demon yourself, and realizing that there's a frequency that you really want to have yourself, and how to navigate around that. All right. Now, what it means to be demons is such a controversial topic, that I'm just going to say it is stagnant negative energy. Okay, stagnant negative energy can become really gross over a short period of time. You leave water out in a bowl for a little while, you'll start realizing that it can get very toxic. That's that element, okay? That then all of a sudden water is toxic. But the way that water can never really be demonic is the fact that life can still come from this darkness that water has. All right, so the water can completely shift its ecosystem with whatever it's curating to make something come out of that. And that's not demon. It is more of negative energy wanting to compute itself for the readiness of light crystal consciousness. Okay, and going through that birth effect of the birth canal of phases and transgressions and transcriptions. I kind of hope this makes sense. I know I'm dragging it out a little bit, but it is what it is. Ultimately, the feeling of having one's shit together will come from enthusiasm, the strength of source, the visualizations of a futuristic need I'm hearing, all right? And staying atop of, some trends. I'm getting really exhausted because there's a lot of artificial, look at that, the death card. A lot of artificial energies trying to make sense of what's divine, like Christic, while most of it that is trying to be Christic is not of crystal consciousness. So it makes me very uncomfortable and very sounding like I'm slurring my words, because there's a meshing of negative shit trying to confuse me. And that energy rings true here with the Seven of Cups, because the confusion can lie in, all right, am I supposed to be indoctrinated to be a certain individual and then find my happiness? Or is it that I'm supposed to follow the inner inertia of curiosity and a calling of some kind and create a yes or no trajectory of this is a good idea, this is maybe not a good idea, and figure out my destiny outside of that? Where are we going to attach ourselves to a narrative and then take in the narrative and then market ourselves based on what we truly need instead of what is a commodity? So what will come to an end is the need to be perfect. I think that will be very healthy for you, but the question is how do we teach that, right? How do we teach then you need to let go of this and make some changes? And I think we've gotten the answer of learning how to be more charismatic with other people, because being charismatic with other people allows you to see how some people may lack or have shortcomings, and those shortcomings could be very detrimental to whomever the shortcoming is affecting. And if one has oversight or management towards that, then it probably can lessen the blow of an effect. So I see that a little bit. So obviously that's also tied to some kind of roles, kind of job, most likely manager, CEO of some kind, having to watch your subordinates and all that jazz. And another way that I see this is someone innerly wanting to express their art, their colors and their light. And there may be a death that will push the elements if you finally putting something out as far as craft is concerned. Overall, you're seeking sense of balance with the Six of Pentacles and the Nine of Pentacles. You really want to be independent and show ether that you got it. Pardon me, this is so draining. because no one's really doing the shadow work. Everyone's doing like a lot of this ego, like I have this quality of mine, and it's not about really for me disciplining it, but making sure that I entertain it. And that's very Emperor, Empress energy. But done well, it brings you so many eyes, so much attention that you may or may not love. So it puts a lot of strain onto either who's watching, who's listening, who's actually really focusing and giving a shit when you turn around and introduce yourself. Like, what are the hits and the misses to engaging in overall social networking that some people need to develop for themselves? Hmm. So where the Emperor meets, let's put it this way. The Emperor started the reading, and then the King of Wands starts from this deck, all right? So it's also very Aries energy, all right? There's also Libra energy here, as well as, I'm also hearing Gemini, okay? So take those messages as they may resonate. So King of Wands, and remember, I'm not reading the cards for the astrological sign. I'm reading the energy, okay, that I'm hearing. So the King of Wands is highlighting the Emperor energy. Again, where I mentioned where you're bringing the masculine energy to the table to really make yourself question the reality of your life and where you are in your trajectory of your path and maybe even destiny. That's the King of Wands energy coming forth here, saying that you're listening out to the message. You heard the call, all right? You're showing up for, you understood the assignment, let's put it that way, all right? And as you're making sense of the assignment that you undertook, there is a level of truth that you feel you must keep vibing on in order to gain what it is that you want, all right? Some of you are struggling with that because you're not doing any kind of shadow work. Shadow work means you address your fears and you try to learn how to not only discipline them, but they get to know them and to start bringing them into some type of therapy. That doesn't have to mean literal therapy. It can be that way, but you really have to start making sense of certain conversations that your mind and your heart is having, because the physical presence of that of which you are is confused because it can't rest. It can't rest when it's trying to rest, and it can't stay up when it's trying to stay up. So it's an exhaustion. Yeah, wishy-washy. A complete exhaustion, the King of Cups energy from those emotions, all right? You're taking the message and saying, I'm hearing the assignment. And it's causing such a truth to ricochet within you that it's daunting to come to all these epiphanies and really have no one really to kind of like validate each and every one of them along the way, especially when they come in like spurts and moments. You don't really have anywhere to run to and be like, yo, this shit just happened to me, right? So whatever did happen to you, you've taken it in and you are allowing that energy to not only sit with you, but to process and make itself known so that you can understand how to feel, right? Once you understand how to feel, you'll make probably a better choice as to what are the choices that you need to offer you some relief. I'm mumbling and jumbling over my words here. It's really exhausting energy. Like truly exhausted. It's that Seven of Cups. Seven of Cups is here again, all right? There's lots of shit going on in that fucking mind space. And it would be very important to get a cleanse, all right? And this could be so many ways, ladies and gentlemen, all those in between and beyond. The best way is to send gaze, and the best way is to get an actual full attuned Reiki session to really get everything etherically open and going and started, so that way you can understand what's left if it tries to make itself known, or understand what you need. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get out of this reading in a second because the energies are just it's too needy. It's too, you want hands held to get you through your problems here, when no healer should ever actually tell you that they're here to hold your hand, because it's not about holding your hand to make you feel better. This is about getting really close to the things that don't work with you and fixing them on your own. And only you can really tell you what the problem is. Everyone else is just a bit of a highlight of an example or a mirror of you. You want to gain a better understanding of shadows. I think some of you are doing that already. Like, you're already in your line of work or interest in, or have it on your to-do list to really do something about these things, these feelings, whether anxiety, depression, sleeplessness, restlessness, or even the good. These lulls are very interesting. So like I said, Bastet reads the moon energy. So she's very interested in what you're left in doing and how you're operating with whatever it is that you have going for yourself, all right? There's no magic solution to everything. You are the magic, and you can bring your own solution to anything and everything. With the moon, Ace of Wands, and Seven of Pentacles, we're just about to repeat the beginning of the energies of the reading, where this secrecy factor of what you want to hold on to is something for you to really figure out on your own, what to release and what to really let go of, or what to really focus on a bit more on to gain more confidence that will give you more healing. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I gotta get out of this reading. This is too much. I'm about to like knock over and fall asleep here. It's just how draining these energies are. The reason why it's draining is because it seems so basic. Like, why is it that you can't handle this? It's an inhalation process. Not to diminish the problem, but more so this crowd knows too much here. With the Ace of Wands twice, the Emperor and the Empress showing up. The Seven of Cups is the only thing that makes this reading confusing, all right? People don't know who the fuck is here, throwing around their energies and saying, come save me, all right? There's a few people out there who want to be saved. Having that such of a loud siren is very confusing for those who don't need to be saved, who just can just go out there and do and survive. So we have it, it's an inhalation process. I think I said that already. We have dreams need to be interpretation. That doesn't make any sense. So it's dreams need to be interpreted, or dreams need interpretation. Excuse me. Failures transform into art. And up here we have visions are part of sight. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, all those in between and beyond, I ask that you consider not only subscribing to both of my channels, but also maybe checking to see if you'd like any of my services. With that being said, wishing you a wonderful morning, noon, or night, wherever you are in the ether of time and space, and may you keep flowing, growing, and glowing. Take care.